Good afternoon, dear friends and dear viewers. Our online visitors of the DOCU Days UA Festival, welcome. When it is our joy to once again welcome you at our morning workout. I'm hoping that you've made it to the almost to the end of the festival. There's 3 days left, and those 3 days are the days you should finish watching everything you've started watching on docuspace.org. And please remember to rate the films and also have a look at the DocuArt section and make sure that you catch the films that you can still watch, films that with views are still available. So if you know what the morning workout is, if you've heard about the morning workout, you know that during this program, we try to talk about things that give us joy during lockdown, during isolation. And right now, it gives me great joy. And finally, the gods of the broadcast have listened to my request and they gave me the opportunity to find myself with a colleague in the studio. Please welcome. Sadly, he doesn't have a name. He has many names today. There's going to be two of us in the studio. And we have an incredible director of the pure art film from DocuArt. Please give a warm welcome to Maxim Shved. Maxim, hello. Hello to you as well. I see that you are ready to talk about health. We were planning this morning workout. We thought about things that we could talk about during lockdown or for self-isolation, social distancing, and so on and so forth. And this significantly impacts people who are working in culture, especially if you are doing something that's not quite material, it's not quite tangible. Certain aspects of the quarantine and the lockdown have given us the realization that we should have a backup plan and do something else. The topic you proposed was fantastic, kombucha. A fantastic topic for a series of reasons because this topic allows us to combine our mental health and our physical health. And I wanted to ask you, kombucha, what is it? When we were preparing for this broadcast, we found a great description. So, one of the first search results for kombucha in Ukrainian Google is an article which says that kombucha, you love it, you hate it, or you're afraid of it. So, kombucha, what is it? Well, good afternoon. My name is Maxim Shved, and I'm the director of Pure Art. I'm calling from Belarus. I'll apologize for speaking Russian. I also read an article that kombucha occupied my brain. Basically, it's a colony of yeast and bacteria, Medusa method, and that doesn't look too attractive, to be honest. Looks a little bit off-putting. This is a symbiosis, a collaboration between yeast and bacteria. And you ferment black tea, usually, and you put some sugar there, and you get a delicious drink that is in most countries, in most languages, known as kombucha. Whereas in Ukrainian, it's known as the tea mushroom. Many people think that this is your grandmother's drink, something she would ferment with flies around it, and something you were forced to drink as a child. Now, let's forget about the old tea mushroom term and think about it as newfangled kombucha, and understand that this is very good for you, and this is very, very exciting thing. Some could even describe it as a pet. Well, yes, this is a living organism that you're growing that has its own life. So it's basically the minimalized version of a pet. So you can't pet it, but it has a positive effect on your health as well, because the articles that I have read about kombucha say that it's a panacea. It helps you with everything. So is it true? Does it really improve your health? Well, of course, you should take all these articles with a grain of salt. There is no panacea. But Now it's difficult to trust anyone, especially these times, especially regarding medicine. The lockdown and what I would describe as the information virus has made us a lot more suspicious. So, some people say that it even treats coronavirus, but there's a lot of probiotic bacteria in this tea and the kombucha that have a very good effect on your intestines, and that is where most of your bacteria are, and they are the basis of your immune system. So this is good to boost your immune system. But why has it become so popular in the States and abroad? And there it is incredibly popular every year. 25% of the soft drink market, it increases its share by 25% every year. Why? Because people there drink a lot of fizzy drinks, a lot of soda like Pepsi, like Coca-Cola, etc. In Ukraine, or we before the coronavirus, people would take care of their health with smoothies and so on, and so kombucha can act as something as a substitute for sweet soda. So if you want to stay healthy, but you like soda, this is a much healthier choice. These yeast fungi, they turn sugar into alcohol, and the bacteria turn alcohol into bacteria, and it also becomes slightly carbonated. So it's carbonated, and the taste resembles kvass or birch tree juice when it's a little bit fermented. So this is a drink that, again, it's a fermented drink. For you, is this a way to take your mind off things, or to improve your health a little bit, or do you feel like it's a business idea for you? So if it's popular in the West, then in Ukraine the healthy lifestyle thing is also taken off. This sounds like a good business case. So you have at least three 3-liter jars, so you have a mini enterprise. Well, you can take these 3 jars in different ways. I am building my own social network. I'm following the fungus. I am spreading it to among my friends, giving it to my friends, and my friends like it. And this is how we're building our large fungal network. I used to be a businessman. I started doing documentaries quite late. I'm 40 right now, and I only realized that this was my calling at the age of 33. Before that, I was a businessman and entrepreneur, and for me, this is an interesting business idea. However, in these times, it's very difficult to make predictions, and to me, I'm still experimenting. I'm trying to understand how interesting this is, how good this tastes, what kinds of kombucha there are. I have a double fermentation bottle right here. So this is the original drink, and you can ferment it again by adding flavors. So this one is apple/banana, and it's delicious. It sounds fantastic. And I mean, it's difficult to think about this as a serious business, but I think the question is, how did I reach this point? How did I find myself here? Because look, I'm a director. I made a film, and the film became quite popular in Belarus. I received an Art Doc Fest award for my director's work, and you could think that now would be the time to believe in myself and believe that being a director is what I should be doing. But I had my journey was long and difficult, and it is hard for me to do this again. So now I'm thinking of what I could do, what film I could make, am looking for a character, and the future frightens me because I have experience. I know how things can be, and I am scared. The first time that I broke into cinema, I was still not aware of what I got myself into. But now I know, and I am a little bit wary of. And now I'm drinking the kombucha, and I'm thinking, well, if push comes to shove, this is a good backup plan. So if this is really this magical medicinal mushroom, then it could create, give you inner energy and inner inspiration to move on. In my Facebook feed, Pure Art has received a lot of positive feedback, and people are excited about the movie. I think now would be a good moment to remind our viewers that you could still watch the movie on docuspace.org. I strongly encourage you to do this. That's part of the Docu Art program, and it's definitely worth it. I'm sure you like it. It is in many ways also relevant for Ukraine. So if you still have not watched the film, docuspace.org, you know what to do. And there again, you can ask, use the dialogue function to ask the director questions. So if you have a question or you would like to comment on something, please remember that is also possible. And you can ask a question right now. If you comment on our Facebook or YouTube pages, you could ask us a question right away. In general, if we talk about your first film, you feel like you're not ready for your next documentary feature, right? Is it because this was a very emotionally difficult project and maybe you need to relax a little bit and gather your strength? Or is it about the fact that you're not sure if you can continue as a documentary director in the future in general? This is my first film, and this is my first film in the industry. I made films before, but they were kind of DIY films. So it was my idea, my director's work, and I was the one watching it. But here we engaged producers, we engaged a film crew, an editor, and of course you can see this in the result. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed in the profession, and being a director, I like it and I like the lifestyle. Even online festivals are, in a way, an interesting type of reality. But I think I've raised the bar for myself, and you can't continue making DIY films, but following the industry path that I've already gone through is not something I would want to do again. And I don't see an alternative at this point. So I went to film school. My professor gave me the names of a couple of producers. At that point, they'd made a couple of films. They were young ladies from the city of Łódź, Poland, Square Films Studio. Thank you guys so much. And together we asked the Polish Film Fund for financing, and they financed a part of the film. And this process took about 18 months. And in those 18 months, you need to eat not only your aspirations, but actually fill your stomach with quite things that have calories. And this constant expectation, this constant weight is something that burned me out. And this was only the beginning of the waiting, because when we started production, I was on the verge of abandoning this whole enterprise, because at that point, 2 years had passed, and we started shooting the film in 2017, but it was released only in 2019. So it took me about 5 years to produce 52 minutes of the film. And this is a very interesting experience, no doubt about that. But if you look at the situation, the real situation on the ground.
For me, there was this burning experience, I have to say. Maybe I wasn't doing something right. Maybe it's because it was my first film. Nobody knows you. and people have a hard time trusting you. You don't know many things as well. And my older colleagues are saying that the first film is a kind of brink that you pass, and then it's going to be easier. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is some laws of the industry, which, as I think, are very rigid for young, I mean, emerging directors. You have to wait for a long time and think for a long time, and sometimes, and we Belarusians have a hard time exhibiting so much patience. Okay, so in this understanding, we can easily understand you. We also have this feeling that film industry is being formed, but as soon as they started forming, there are some new and additional unknown variables there trying to prevent it. And yes, it has become a bit easier to make it, at least. There is more mainstream production now, but there is COVID and there is budget sequestration and other great things happening our way. They don't allow us to get too comfortable. But could you please tell us, what do you think about online festival as a format? Can it make not maybe a revolution in documentaries, but at least ease the access to the final audience? And maybe we could try to somehow simplify this mechanism of additional crowdfunding to make the following film for any person. uh, the person needs money. This money can be given by final audience, for example, if they know, if they're interested in the topic or anything, or for example, if they offer something like crowdfunding does, and bringing it to our favorite kombucha. I understand that kombucha production cannot fully finance a documentary full-length film, but still, it is something that can interest you at some point, because not each director proposes apple and banana kombucha. And in general, what do you think? How can online festival help you somehow? Because there is this more or less direct contact through the screen with the audience. I really would be grateful if we draw conclusions from this situation. We, as the industry, as documentary filmmakers, as the festival. I watched a stream of one of the directors. His option to sell his film online, and it seems to me that this is somewhere we can move on, because in my experience, I haven't really used any crowdfunding. I never collected money for the film with the help of people, you know? So it's either I did it as a friend, with some enthusiasm, or I did it through the industry. And this option scares me a little bit, because, as far as I know, it requires a lot of time and effort, and the result isn't always a match. But maybe such fun gifts and, let's say, uh, these things can actually attract this attention and become, I mean, there should be some promotion and marketing. Like, for example, we have film critic in Belarus who makes his own jam. Yes. So we do our best as much as we can. Yes, but that's an ideal combination. Onion jam and a film critic, that's great. Yes, that's true. Maxim Shved, his name is. And an online festival is good because access to the film for many viewers is much more obvious, let's say. So you want to watch it, you just go and watch it. You are not limited by the size of the hall in the cinema, or some advertising that can cover people offline. Here it's enough to throw the link and your friend is watching a film that you liked. But there is a nuance here, is that actually it is limited to some country, to some region, and it's clear why this is so. But again, this also can be bypassed, and my Polish friends who couldn't manage to watch the film because it was just recently at the festival, it's not there online, and for some reason illegally they managed to bypass it and still watch it. And you know, secretly we're going to find them anyway, you know. We have a system that's going to pinpoint those people. And we'll also find out if, well, of course, if this area we can't do anything, but at least we know who you are. Well, again, this is a problem of the system which is available now. The film is released. Normally, for some time, it goes over the festivals, and people would like to watch it in some place where there is no festival. They cannot watch it in any way. That's the peculiarity of the documentary cinema. This film is not anywhere online. So my friend online who hasn't been to Belarus for a long time, and actually uh, he cannot watch this film because there is no possibility to do that. But if you think about the strategy of online festivals, I think that it could work for some viewers as well. Well, really, I believe here that online festival is on the one hand. There are some things that have to be thought out and refined. You know, there is this meme that was very widespread lately. What encouraged digital transformation of our company? Your executive director, your technical director, COVID-19, of course, is the last option. So this transfer to online, it was the biggest factor, and probably the future is also for us, but for us it's an experiment to try organizing a documentary film festival online to see what's going to have to be the reaction of our audience. It's a totally different thing when you see this full room of people who really want to see something, and they also want to talk about the experience they have just lived, to the directors, to the authors, and between themselves. And another thing is how these people are going to do all that online, but they are doing that very well. And I would like to stress, all your comments, reactions, emotions of the film, you can leave them in video dialogues that are available on film pages. So pure art, that's the title of the film. You won't regret it. And another important question that's going to be of concern for many people after they are used to not being called kombucha. You're supposed to call it kombucha, not tea fungus. You can do it in different flavors, and most probably you can make alcohol out of it because bacteria make alcohol. That's true. So what do we do so that this becomes tea fungus? That's black tea. Good thing. You have to find a friend who already has tea fungus. It can be divided. There are these places of source they can share. There are lots of tutorials on the internet how to do all that, or your friend will tell you. And then it's easy. Black tea, sugar, kombucha, and some liquid from fermentation. Then you wait for 7 days. It lives there. Don't touch it. Don't experiment with it. Don't do anything to it. It's Belarusian. It loves stability. You wait for 7 days and everything's going to be fine. I mean, it's very easy. So that's also yeah, it's actually an MLM of sorts. And to enter this network, you have to find a point of access, right? A person who is going to share the mushroom, right? The fungus. Well, I know there are lots of people like that, and it's not grandmas, it's also young people, because I'm saying that's very popular now. There is this healthy lifestyle drink, and you simply have to shift your focus and ask yourself a question about that. Yes, is it possible to grow tea fungus at home? Were you thinking about something else, doing something similar in healthy lifestyle vein? Are there any practices that you like? Uh, is it about so that you could feel more hope and faith in life in these complicated times? Well, I'm an entrepreneur, at least partially, and I'm constantly thinking what could be done. But out of the latest ideas, it was about growing regular mushrooms. I have, so yes, another mushroom, that's true. I'm going into mushrooms, yes. But in general, there are lots of ideas, not just this oyster mushroom or shiitake mushroom. At this time when everything is just unstable, uh, you have to be together with the whole world. So the most important is to be decisive enough and to believe in yourself. And I think everything's going to be fine. And kombucha has a lot of vitamin B. And this vitamin actually helps you believe more in yourself. Yes, it encourages brain activities. Vitamin B is something that you have to drink, eat, and generally consume so that your brain works well. So, in general, we have found a non narcotic fungus that you can eat for your brain to work well. Okay, then. Yes. And by the way, I have just been talking to you, and I can become a film character myself now because I watched this thing. It's about snails, a Polish film. It's a film about two guys who wanted to grow snails and what awaited them on this journey. So if I started documenting my adventures about how it's going to be hard for me to get to the market and to earn my first million, I think that a film could have been out of that. Yes, I think it could even be docu-reality. It could be a docu-series in limited space with the key characters. You already have these three jars. I don't know. You can call them somehow and you can watch that. Like those kitty crazy people. When there is this huge family tree, when you simply buy a cat or take a cat, you cannot it needs to be like Orlando Bloom or something. You're going to have, well, this great family tree that this fungus has. Yeah, by the way, they have their own character. This one wants to run away somewhere. But for some reason, I'm thinking they're all girls. Maybe because they live alone and they want to have female companionship. So, yeah. Well, the idea of web series, yes, that's an option, right? I mean, the ideas are everywhere. Yes, and that can also be a first step towards further capitalization of this business because everything that appears on the internet, everything is sold offline. Yes. So then I think that you and I can reach a sort of agreement. Yeah, I like this idea. I think that on this positive note, they're already telling me that we're supposed to finish up, to wrap up. 30 minutes have passed. Thanks a lot, Maxim, for talking to us in this morning workout. Thanks to you. Thanks for your attention. Stay healthy. Yes. Peace, Jarastafari to you all. Yes, 1st of May today. Yes, so we did everything on time. Have a great harvest of kombucha. I hope that after experiment, you invent new flavors, and maybe the following year you can come to us to Real Docu Days if it's gonna still happen, and we'll all be able to taste this kombucha with apple and banana flavor and how this is all happening. Thanks again. Thanks to the audience for joining. I hope that you were also inspired and you got several interesting ideas what you can do at home, what can you grow at home, and how you can have your pet. Of course, you can have a pet like my silent colleague. I think that he has a lot of questions remaining, but he didn't manage to voice all of them because I talk too much. But thanks a lot for joining, and please stay with us. We have a huge big day at docudays.ua, so please watch all the airs that are going to happen. There's going to be soup with directors now. After that, docu class, and also there are going to be programs associated with human rights activities. That's Rights Now program. Also, there's going to be Ukrainian premiere. So don't forget to stay with us. Watch the film Pure Art by Maxim Shved from DocuArt. You know where to go. You have to go on docuspace.org. Don't forget to watch films. Don't forget to leave your comments and emotions in our video dialogue. And stay with us. Let's do this festival together. And tomorrow, as for the film critics, our film critics don't know whether they're going to manage to produce an annual gym, but one of our film critics is going to tell us how you can make some delicious cocktails. And tomorrow in morning workout, there's going to be cocktails. Join him. And we'll celebrate the end of the festival, watch the cinema. Stay healthy, grow kombucha, and see you very soon.